What's up, Raider? Today we're gonna be reading Halloween Reddit story. You ready?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Halloween Reddit stories.
Yeah. And what are you dressed up as, Demi?
What you should have been dressed up as for Halloween. Instead, he decided to be my outfit. We switched outfits.
Yeah, we did switch outfit.
She's having too much fun with an extra bone.
Yeah, we have an extra bone right here.
First of all, as you can see, I lost my extra bone. I am no longer an extra boner. Oh my god.
You wanna take it? You wanna take it from here?
There goes her family friendliness, guys. Her family friendliness. Take the mask off.
Oh my god. I'm kinda curious now.
Just from looking at her extra bone, I could tell it's about 6.5 to 7 inches.
So this one you would have to subtract 2 because it's not meant to be like that. It started with 2, so it's 9.
Was that?
Subtracted by 2 is 7.
I was on the money. I told you guys, I could tell the size of another man's or woman's extra bone.
Alright, since it's Halloween, do you believe in paranormal stuff?
Yeah, I stayed up one day to study for class and somehow, paranormally, my grade dropped to like a freaking 70 from an 80. Or was it 65? God. I don't know. It was spooky, that's all I could say. Couldn't tell if I was gonna pass or fail. It was scary. It was scary, man. It was scary. How about you?
Me? I'm more of
the other guy.
Let's get into the story. For this one, it's from r/AskReddit. This is 100% true, even though most people I tell this to in real life don't believe me. When I was really little, my parents would let me stay up late on the weekends and watch TV until I fell asleep. I really loved these times and I would stay up later than anybody else, just because I could. Well, one night I was almost asleep on the couch when I heard a noise from our front porch. It was the sound of our old-fashioned porch swing moving back and forth. I was a little bit scared, so I crept towards the bay window of my living room and peeked out towards the porch. Sitting on my front porch swinging was an old lady, probably in her 50s, wearing nothing but a nightgown covered in blood and holding a huge kitchen knife. What I picture from what I read right now, I picture kind of like a ghost lady sitting. Have you guys ever seen that one clip that have like a swinging chair back and forth, you know? And then they're like,
have you ever seen an old lady? I mean, guys, have you ever seen an old person before? No?
Oh my God.
Me either, bro. This story sounded a lot unrealistic to me.
Let's continue. I flipped out immediately and ran screaming into my parents' room, but was too terrified to form words. My parents saw that I was upset, but when I finally was able to tell them what I saw, my dad got really angry and told me that it was just a dream and to go back to bed. I refused and kept crying and screaming until he had enough and snatched my arm and dragged me towards the front door to prove that nothing was there. I kicked and screamed all the way trying to make him stop, but he kept pulling me. Finally, we got to the door. He unlocked it, swung it open, and said, "See, there's nothing." To this day, I have never seen the look of fear and shock that was on his face when that woman turned and stared at both of us and slowly stood up with a knife. My dad slammed the door shut and got my mom to call the police while he went and got his gun. He went back to the door with a 12 gauge and cracked the door enough to stick the barrel out. He asked her what she doing here, and she said somebody killed my husband, but it wasn't me. My dad told her that the police were coming. She freaked out, grabbed the knife, and walked away. The police found her 15 minutes later trying to break into one of our neighbor's house. I never slept in the living room again.
I feel like if they ended it right there, it would be believable. But the fact that I feel like there's more to the story makes me feel like it's not that believable.
Really? I feel like it's believable.
Yeah, right now. But if you add more details, it becomes unbelievable.
Alright.
It's like giving a villain a backstory. Now they're no longer a villain. They're just another person ruined by society.
Alright. Edit. Oh yeah, I forgot that after she left, my dad called and warned my crazy uncle who lived next door what was happening. Apparently, He was waiting on his front porch with his shotgun when she walked by. He pointed it at her and just said, "Keep moving, bitch." That is crazy.
Oh man, I'm gonna need you to keep the on.
There's an update. I just talked to my mom and she said that they never really found out the whole story, but apparently she was crazy and offered medication. Her and her husband got into a fight and she tried to attack him with a knife but didn't seriously hurt him. When he got her out of the house, she cut herself with a knife, either trying to commit suicide or make it look like her husband did it. The police never talked to us about it, but that's just what my parents heard from the neighbors. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of creepy in a way. If you're really little and someone actually sit in the front porch with a knife and is really bloody and turns out like she's a psycho.
Don't open the door.
That's not him though. That's the dad. Someone commented, "Most people won't believe this. I thought you were going to tell us some about ghosts or demons, but this seemed legit." I kind of agree, because when you said some people don't believe in it, it's either paranormal or something that cannot be explained. So yeah, I was imagining something worse.
I mean, it's a real story, and just with the fact that when I look for stuff that's paranormal, right, I look for things that are unexplainable, things that just don't make sense to me. When a story makes sense, it loses its paranormal, like, you know, pizzazz.
Oh my god. Demi? Don't you have to go driving soon?
Don't worry. There's nothing in there.
I heard some little clanking.
There's nothing in there
Demi?
at all.
There is. There is. There is.
There isn't.
There
isn't.
is. Oh my god.
There isn't.
There is.
Oh.
Demi!
There isn't anything there.
Demi, stop! Stop! Stop!
And that, guys, is how you prank someone with water.
Is that actually water?
Yeah. First comment. Don't know who it's from. Don't know why they commented, but I'll read it. Something similar happened to a friend of mine. It was about 1 a.m. and he heard a noise outside his front door. His front yard is really dark, so he looked through the peephole rather than opening the door, which you should always do. Again, if you look through the peephole and you see someone outside, scary, you didn't see them outside, go your ass back to sleep. Make sure the doors are locked.
Yeah.
Windows, those are breakable. Put thumbtacks. Put thumbtacks on the side of the window.
Oh my god.
So if they do step in, you have an alarm system. He couldn't see anything, but could tell something was below the peephole. He decided to open the door slowly, and as soon as he did, an older lady whose face was covered in blood and only wearing a t-shirt, no underwear or pants, lucky guy, tried to run into his house. So he slammed the door on her and called the cops. While waiting for the cops, he kept looking out the little hole on the door, and every so often, she would scurry back and forth on his front lawn. So the cops finally showed up and detained the woman, and they got to the bottom of the story. It turns out the woman was his neighbor, and she was extremely drunk. She had been drinking and locked herself out of the house and tried to get back in by breaking the window with her face/hands. Side note, the neighbor no longer calls the cops when my friend has parties.
That's a plus.
Yeah. I love when my neighbor busts her face and her hands and they're bleeding profusely.
Oh my
god. But at least I get to have parties with my friends with no interruptions. You know, it's a double win. Hear me out. He got to see some hot naked gilf.
Yeah.
Despite the blood, you know, that's a little bit of a downer. It brings it down from like a 10 to a 9.5. And the neighbor says you can party all night. All I'm hearing is she sounds like she wants to be invited. Bedroom's open. Grandmama, come on in, Grandmama. I got you.
Alright, so that's the end of the story. For me personally, I feel like this kind of story is scarier than ghost story. But let me know in the comment what you want us to read next.
Thank you for checking into our first Reddit reviews. Remember to subscribe to the Demi Employees YouTube channel for more reactions if you're looking for more. And yeah, you guys have a wonderful day. Take care. And yeah, remember, Demi Employee Reacts.
Demi Employees Reacts. Demi, you want to take
it? Take your dick out my screen. Take your...
You want to take it? You want to take it?